You ever hear a sound that shouldn't exist? A soft whoosh in the dead of night, when every other noise is silent? That's what started it for me. One quiet graveyard shift, deep under St. Andrew's Hospital. At exactly 3 a.m., the morgue doors opened by themselves, and they never closed the same way again. I used to work security on the sub-level of St. Andrew's Hospital in Illinois, a cold, forgotten part of the building where the labs and morgue sat side by side like two sleeping beasts. Night shifts were quiet, sometimes too quiet. My job was simple: watch the monitors, check the locks, and make sure no junkies broke in looking for chemicals. But the one thing that always unsettled me wasn't people. It was the new automatic sliding doors they installed for the morgue. Every night at exactly 3 a.m., those doors would open and close by themselves. Never early, never late. It became an inside joke among the guards, something we'd half laugh about to hide how unnerving it felt. The company swore the doors had no timer, no internal trigger. It was motion activated only, but there was never anyone there. That night, I was working alone. My partner had called out sick at the last minute, so I brewed a pot of coffee and settled in with the cameras, trying not to think about the clock creeping toward 3. When the minute hand finally hit, I leaned forward. The doors slid open. A rush of freezing air whooshed through the corridor even from where I sat. But this time, something was off. They didn't close. I watched for 10 seconds, then 20. The screen flickered. The doors stayed wide open, and the temperature in my control room began to dip. I thought it was a monitor glitch, but then the lights in the hallway flickered too. I had to check it. Regulations said the morgue doors couldn't remain open. I grabbed my flashlight and stepped into the hallway. The deeper I went, the colder it got, like walking into a freezer. The hum of the hospital above faded until all I could hear was the soft buzz of fluorescent lights and my own breathing. When I reached the corner, I could see my reflection in the polished tile floor, but the doors were still open. The air pouring from that room felt heavy, almost wet, like breathing through ice. I waved my hand in front of the sensor. Nothing. I took a step closer, then suddenly, whoosh, the doors slid shut on their own. The air turned colder. I froze. For a split second, I felt it, the warmth of someone standing right behind me. My neck prickled. I turned. Nobody, just the echo of silence. I hurried back to the control room, locked the door, and sat down. My hands were shaking a little, so I took a sip of coffee. It was ice cold, not warm, frozen. I stared at the mug, then at the monitor. Out of curiosity or stupidity, I rewound the footage to when I had been standing at the morgue doors, and my stomach dropped. On the screen, behind me, stood a young girl, barefoot, long black hair covering her face, a pale hospital gown clinging to her frame. She wasn't there in real life. I swear she wasn't. But there she was on camera, just standing in the doorway, watching me. Then she turned and slowly walked away, toward the exit. I switched to the other camera feed, the one pointed at my control room. For a few seconds, the screen went black, then static, then me. Sitting in the chair, looking at the monitor, only the door behind me, which I had locked, was now wide open. I spun around in real time. Nothing. The door was shut tight, locked. But on the screen, the door was open, and that same girl stood halfway inside the room, her head tilted slightly, her wet hair dripping onto the floor. The feed glitched again, then went dark. All at once, the lights in my room flickered and went out. The monitors shut down. I sat there in the dark, heart pounding, unable to move. For maybe 30 seconds, all I heard was the hum of the machines and soft, dragging footsteps behind me. When the power came back on, I was alone. The door was closed. Everything looked normal. except for one thing. The system had reset and all video data from that night was corrupted. All except for one short clip. A single frame showing me sitting at my desk with the girl's face, half decayed and grinning, reflected in the monitor right next to mine. I quit 2 days later. Couldn't even bring myself to go back to pick up my last paycheck. But sometimes, around 3 in the morning, I still hear that sound in my dreams. The low hum of those sliding doors, opening when no one's there. And every now and then, my bedroom turns cold for no reason at all. Maybe it's nothing. Or maybe the morgue doors never really closed. They just found a new way to open.